Hey everyone, this is Lucas. I'm doing a little bit of an intro thing this week because we didn't have a really solid opening. We just kind of hopped into it. This week we're joined by Mr. Joshua Bartemes as our special guest. Thank you so much, Josh, for joining us. And on with the podcast. Enjoy.
Hi guys, I'm Adam.
And I'm Lucas.
And I'm Joshua.
A special guest we have on today, one of our good friends, and we're welcome back to In the Back Row.
This episode is being recorded in person in a triangle orientation around a single microphone in Adam's basement.
which actually may be legitimately better than my original audio. So
We'll see.
Based on the first episode, it probably is.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, not for a second. So you guys have all been doing pretty well today, from what I've been hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your day.
Well, so past probably 3 months, 2 months, however long this has been, I just haven't been sleeping. Like, I would go about a day and a half without sleeping, crash at like 4 p.m., let's say, and then sleep until the morning.
Yeah.
And that's just been my regular routine. But recently I've actually like gotten back into like a schedule of like going to bed at a regular time, which is really surprising because I didn't do that during the school year.
Yeah.
I just find it surprising that I'm able to maintain it because it's been like a few days and I haven't fallen out of it yet.
What time?
Like about midnight to 10 o'clock every morning.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually really good.
It's like solid, yeah.
That's a pretty solid
I get to
sleep
see my family.
Yeah.
I'm not just
That's
lurking
new.
in the
Magical.
Yeah, it is pretty magical. So that kind of actually brings me pretty well into like a first thing I've been thinking about, right?
Mhm.
Which is, I've been thinking a lot about sleep specifically, especially going around. No one has a scheduled sleep anymore, except for a few of us that now that things are opening and people are starting to hang out again, we're starting to slowly reconnect. Work.
Yeah.
Work, specifically. So I've been wondering, what will this do? How do you guys think this is going to affect like school times? As I've already heard that people in Colorado are already changing school times until later in the day for this next year.
Really?
They've also changed school schedules, so instead of having a long summer, they just have a bunch of very long breaks in between the years. So instead of having, as an example, instead of having like a Thanksgiving break and then school until Christmas, that'll be one large break.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have another large break in the spring, and then another break right in the middle of the summer, but school will go continuously out of that. But back to the main thing, we, as a species, have been running on a pretty set time schedule where 1 a.m. is considered generally like, most people are starting to get ready for bed at least by then, or are already asleep by around 1 a.m. That's like late. And now people are staying up till 5 a.m. normally. And everybody's got a different sleep schedule, right?
Well, part of me thinks is that it's like mainly an energy thing. Like you're going to be sitting in your house all day with practically nothing to do. Even if you're working at home, you're not moving around, you're not talking to people.
Right.
So like you're just using less energy. So your body says, I don't need to go to sleep yet. And that's, I think, what the majority of people have felt. It's like, I'm not going to sleep if I don't feel like it, because most people are exhausted by the end of the day anyway.
Right. And I think that that's going to be something that's going to be really hard to get out of, and possibly something that'll shape, how we go about our days from now on. Do you guys think that that's going to affect anything like, say, opening times for schools, work, or business, or perhaps even scheduled planning for later in the day? Or things could be scheduled later at night? Because maybe, it's going to be the average going to bed time is going to be now like, instead of like 11 or 12, it's going to be 1 or 2.
Personally, my going to bed time, if you want to call it that, has
sleepy time
generally stayed the same since like school and then Corona, and then still Corona, but
still
summer.
Corona.
But like part of the reason I stay up later is because I have no reason not to sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I want to sleep in, I can.
Yeah.
I'm not working right now, and the people who are though have to wake up.
Right.
So like their schedules don't change. And I mean, not to get too like sociological, and specific about our civilization, but we you guys are both bouncing your legs at the same time.
I do that generally.
Yeah, okay.
I can bounce both if that's better.
See, in the normal episodes, I wouldn't see that.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah. Now try to get your mind off of that.
I'm never gonna be able to.
You can't do it.
Legs.
Yeah, that's probably better.
This doesn't translate to our listeners. They don't see this.
Well, it's helping you focus, which is why we're doing it.
As a civilization, we have chosen the times that we are like awake and productive during the day because that's when we have light and and I guess some jobs, like you might make the argument that like, oh, now that we have more technology, you don't need the sun.
Right.
Like as much. Yeah. We'll just replace the sun with the computer. Okay. No.
The biggest and brightest 4K screen we've ever seen.
But there's still some jobs out there that require like sunlight.
Yeah.
Farming.
That's we can do moon farming. I think that's definitely an option. It's just
sun
been
tanning.
Well, I mean, even at this point, if you're going to bring up farming, we have lights that now imitate sun. Like this, the sun giving nutrients, that kind of thing.
What about the places that don't have those?
That's a lot of lights.
Yeah, right?
Like, we look at the majority of rural America.
Yeah. Well, listen, those maps that are like up in the sky and look at all the light pollution in these areas. These are all where all the major cities is. What if it was all, what if it was all bright?
How far away do you think we are from having like daytime all the time? From like just constant artificial light.
Well, there's so many the future, and you've got the new Cyberpunk game coming out. You've got stuff like Star Wars. Not to harp back to a touchy topic.
We might have to talk about Star Wars for 20 minutes.
That may be cool. But
people don't like that.
Sci-fi in general. And I think that anything that we've put, even all of us just watched the movie Minority Report, and that's not too far of a future, except for the whole clairvoyance thing. But I'm talking like,
sideways
robotic
cars.
Sideways car, sure. Like self-driving cars. That's not that far of a future.
It's already there.
Yeah,
in
pretty
stuff
much.
like Tesla.
For listeners at home who are under the age of 30 and have most likely not seen Minority Report, it is a movie starring Tom Cruise where the whole general idea is they can see crimes before they happen and they have to stop the crime.
Right.
And Tom Cruise is like, he sees himself committing a crime and they're like, whoa.
It is, yeah.
It's
that exact reaction, in fact.
It's a crazy experience.
Yeah.
And then he like waves his arms around in the hologram.
He does a lot of stupid arm waving. Like in the future, you do not need that much arm waving.
The future is incredible.
But in the future, isn't the idea to minimize work through technology? Isn't that what we're doing now? Mm-hmm. So why would you have to wave your arms around and do more than just like press the forward and backwards key?
It
on
also
the keyboard?
had the plastic clear floppy disks. So
yeah,
That's a good
maybe
point.
it was like a retro phase. you never know. Like, this was so hip back in the 2020s.
The crime division who really wants to go retro. We're gonna just start shooting them again.
So
back to the good old days. Yikes. Okay. Anyways.
So the point that I was getting to, what was the point I was getting to?
We were talking about something that I can't remember. Sleep?
Yeah, sleep. Lights.
Infinite day.
Well, yeah, sci-fi, a future in general, right? Uh-huh. At that point, I think that's at least 1,000 years off. I don't think we're going to get to those gigantic super cities where people have augmented limbs for, just 100 creds or something on the street. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we're going to get there that soon. And I think a lot of people are projecting that, oh my gosh, well, we have technology and nukes now. I'm not even sure we'll survive the century, much less make it to... Hey,
maybe not even 2020.
Yeah, hey, look.
Based on how it's been going so far.
Don't say that. Yeah, it's kind of... Can we get a number 3? We got... So we got, at-home eye transplants and stuff like that in this movie. And that stuff isn't that far off, but I just don't see, You
can
know,
do that
everyone
today.
doing self-driving cars. Yeah, exactly. But you usually want a surgeon for that.
Usually.
Usually.
Not a back alley doctor.
Yeah, someone who does it in his apartment. So,
Anyway, we
Right.
should change the topic because a lot of people probably clicked off at this point.
yeah, that's okay.
Let's talk about what we screwed up last week.
Okay.
Ginger beer. Ginger beer is not ginger ale. I was informed to tell you this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You were informed.
Yeah.
Someone took the time.
Someone took the time to respond.
I had 2 people tell me.
2 people?
Yeah. I know.
Oh,
That were not my parents.
I would be-
I mean, they were. I mean, they weren't.
Right. I would be embarrassed if it wasn't ginger beer. So.
But ginger beer is alcoholic.
Oh, is it
Ginger-
actually?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
now I'm
there's
kind of embarrassed.
There's some kinds that are alcoholic. There's some kinds that aren't.
Well, I was under
So
the
I was like-
impression that ginger beer and ginger ale are completely 2 different things. Because you have stuff like Canada Dry, ginger ale,
Yes.
no caffeine,
Mm.
or no alcohol.
Hopefully.
And then you have ginger beer, which is like beer made out of ginger, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
You put it in a Moscow Mule.
Right.
The things I learned from my parents.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite. You always learn the alcoholic
Johnson
stuff.
homeschooling is a wonderful thing.
This one, you gotta have this one with this thing, and you're like, oh, I just want to play video games.
It's the skills you learn.
This-
Let's see. What else did I hear about last week? Yeah, people complained about Star Wars
a lot of Star Wars complaints
because we talked about it for way too long, and it was
Like,
right at the beginning.
20 to 30 minutes. Well, now we got Minority Report, so we're just hitting all the movies first.
Right. We'll hit every single sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
You decide next week, and we'll talk about a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, send us some ideas of what to watch before next week that aren't Star Wars, preferably.
Or Minority Report.
Well, I'd be okay with watching that again. It was kind of gross. It was kind of
I
a gross movie.
Gotta say that scene where he drinks the spoiled milk has gotten me closer to throwing up than any other movie has.
Yeah,
which is surprising.
I've seen every single Saw movie, which, by the way, for those out there who think those are well written,
no.
incorrect. False. I get
All right.
a blanket statement. Also, you guys who like Taco John's, no.
He's been preparing all day. He's like, I'm gonna bash Taco John's. on
Taco
this
John's
podcast.
is the absolute worst place you could
Okay.
possibly go.
I'm going to argue with this.
Okay,
I'm
please
going to
do.
argue with this.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is the worst restaurant. Taco John's, I'm pretty sure it is a local joint.
Is it actually?
I'm pretty sure Taco John's is a local joint, or more definitely more local than Taco Bell is.
Do you want
Yeah.
me to make a very, just alienating statement that might turn everyone against me?
Uh-oh.
I might have been confusing the two.
I think you have. Taco Bell's the one with the Baja Blast.
Oh, yep, okay, then
Sorry, Taco John.
Sorry, okay, I'll write a formal apology to Taco John's to whom it may concern.
Wow.
Listen, I've only been to one of them, whichever it was Taco Bell's or Taco John's. Both of them once. They weren't, different.
Yeah,
It was-
to be fair, they're not that different.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I went there a long time ago, and I had the worst experience, in my life. It felt like my insides were going, had been poisoned, and then sent through Space Mountain 6 to 7 times. So
And that was Taco John's or Taco Bell?
I don't know.
Either way, you're
So I have an anger where I can't direct the anger. It's just towards one of these two.
Taco something.
Taco something, and both of them are very non-specific. Taco places.
It's a taco place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a franchised taco place.
So
Taco Bell is definitely bigger though, because it's
Definitely.
partnered with KFC, right? That's the one where they have the restaurants that are in the same one.
the Baja Blast flavored mashed potatoes
No.
and the KFC meat. Nothing like dipping in a nice.
I like
fried
looking at my
chicken
mashed
stick.
potatoes and it being teal.
Aquamarine.
Oh no.
Oh, there's nothing. Yeah, there's
The gravy is just
Yeah.
congealed Baja Blast.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that kind of brings up an interesting topic. Which what do you think would be the two worst restaurants to combine and make a crossover food?
Okay, I already have an answer.
Well,
It
that was immediate. Okay.
it already exists. It's Long John Silver's in A&W.
That's true. Poor Long John Silver's is like the little bastard child that has to look at them. Look at the A&W get all the service.
You got the greasiest burger place ever, which is A&W.
Yeah.
And then you have the greasiest fish place ever, which is Long John
Which, by the way,
Silver's.
what other fast food place is known for their fish and has succeeded?
That's a good. Well,
Not
it's
even-
arguable that
yeah,
Long John Silver's has succeeded because
Well, it's succeeded in getting us to recognize their existence because all of us know what that is.
yeah.
But they haven't succeeded in doing anything other than staying afloat.
Who on earth who on earth said it was okay for A&W and Long John Silver's to join together? Because is there someone out there who's like eating their like? It's not fish. Is it fish?
Penguin, I'd like to think.
They're eating their fried penguin,
They're delicious fried.
and they're thinking to themselves, you know what would go good with this? A root beer. No one has said that ever.
It'll bring back the bubbliness of like the oil in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? You can call it the sink and swim.
No.
We're trying to, instead of omega-3, it's just grease.
It's just grease. We replaced all the omega-3. We've taken everything healthy off of this fish, and it is now closer to beef than what A&W has.
Another thing
Mm-hmm.
from last week that we should talk about is thank you so much for the positive response. I heard a lot back from you guys.
Oh, genuinely, yes.
And it meant a lot. Also, I am gonna have to condemn you though because we didn't get to 1 million views and I didn't get to see Adam's feet pics.
I don't have socks on now. All right, we got there, folks. Well, no, it wasn't me. Wait, if I remember correctly, it wasn't my feet pics. Is that I would be posting your feet pics?
You said my feet pics.
Oh, sure. I mean, we can.
We can go back. There's a recording.
No,
of it.
I mean totally. Let's go back. Let's see who's wrong. I mean, it's not gonna be me. So I don't.
I'll pull it up right now.
There's no real need to do that.
Oh, there is.
Anyway,
It's very important which feet pics.
apparently.
Wait.
So Lucas is apparently looking up and condemning me, condemning me posting his feed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
Don't try to lie to the public.
I'm not gonna try to lie to the public. I'm definitely gonna do it. Are we really looking this up?
I found it.
We might think about it.
A little bit later.
Maybe. There's no promises. But like, comment, and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and also subscribe again. Make a ghost account. Get a VPN. Start chugging out bot accounts through Russian servers. Get us to 1 million followers.
I swear
in
to
the
God.
next
Listen.
2 hours, and 2 hours. We'll probably have a 1 million special. Right. Well, I'll probably post my feet pics.
No, listen. Keep listening. No, you can't.
Incentive, though.
Wait.
Right.
Wait.
Yeah. That's the goal, ladies and gentlemen.
I swear to
1
God.
million, and Adam will post feet pics. Yeah, that'll be the day, right? It might not be of my feet, but I will post.
Yeah, but you said my at the beginning.
Okay, sure.
So you
but
went back on yourself
No,
immediately.
yeah. So what? I'm not gonna post my feet pics. That isn't
Don't
something.
Tease us
It
like
was
that.
a spur of the moment, in the heat of the passion. It was the heat of passion, not in the heat. Anyway,
I'm just disappointed because
What?
I don't get to see Adam's feet.
which is fair enough. I mean, fine, but that doesn't go around.
Must I remind the listeners at home, this is a comedy podcast, and a lot of the things we say are satirical.
Except for the feet.
Yeah.
the feet are.
If you do get us to 1 million subscribers, it will happen.
we will make a feet wiki account and get.
We'll make an OnlyFans.
We'll make an OnlyFans, and honestly.
Don't say honestly.
Listen, I am a man who's all about chasing the bag. Once you see an income source, listen, people make their
Stop
livelihoods. Oh, sorry. People make their livelihoods off of OnlyFans. We could.
Why not us?
Listen, man, I don't like working a 9 to 5. I mean, who does? I don't want to look forward and seeing myself at a desk job at age 30 doing the same thing that I've done since I've been 20.
You'd rather see yourself in front of a camera
I'd rather see...
at age 30.
Listen, I'll admit it. Some
There's an
feet are better
audience
than
for
others.
everyone.
If we find a niche market, we can, just squeeze the money out.
And specifically Adam's
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I actually don't really want to push the whole me selling my own feet pics.
Okay, once again, we were bordering on the level of harboring on a topic for too long, and I think if we covered feet too much, I think that's a downgrade from Star Wars.
It's a downgrade from Star Wars, but we might get a new audience.
like it'll be a year from now, and there'll be an underground forum, just trying to find Adam's feet.
Underground the back row forum. Listen, I love sub fan bases that go around and like have their own things, like in Star. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
In Star Trek.
So
Can we talk about Star Trek for half an hour? It's not the same.
It's not the same. We can technically do it, and I don't know how flaunting that in front of our fans will help. But
fan base in air quotes.
All four or three of you. Love you, Mom. So more specifically, you haven't answered. What do you think the two most disgusting? And you can't say A&W, and it can be fictitious.
Maybe like.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, you should go.
Okay, I enjoy fried chicken. I love that stuff. I can't get enough of it. I absolutely, if somebody offers me, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Cane's, I'm all down for it. I'm there. Mm-hmm. But there's something that I can't abide by about KFC. And I don't know whether it's the presentation.
Is it the Baja Blast?
No, it's not the Baja Blast. I don't know if it's the presentation of a family meal fast food place where you can get the entire bucket, enough to feed all of your little chudlings for just a few cents on the dollar. Or whether it's the single fact that if you go in there, that is a place where I fear. You go inside and everything's just a little greasy. And you've got places that shouldn't be. Like, you've got, like, the furniture where if I sit down there, I know I'm going to leave an impression, and not because of the cushions. Because the grease will form and stay. Going into there hurts me, and I don't know why. But I think something that would be worse than me going into a KFC is the KFC coming to me. Mm-hmm. So I think that the worst fast food connection of two different places would 100% be KFC and Sonic. Because first of all, not only do I not trust these Sonic people to wheel out a chili dog 100% of the time without painting the side of my car with it, right? So I fear.
That's what we call in the biz a callback.
So I fear. He's new on the job. He's not quite used to it, and Sonic is now carrying the KFC family platter. So not only does he paint the side of my car, but everyone else's down the line.
You're gonna paint it with the Baja Blast mashed potatoes.
Yeah, the Baja Blast mashed potatoes will take. Do you know how long that would take to scrape out of the cushions in a car? Not to mention the fried chicken in your radiator. I'm just not a fan, personally. Anyway, that's my thought about it.
I've been thinking about it, and it's hard to come up with something because personally, I'm an everything in moderation type of guy,
right? And
I don't want to rehash on the stuff because we've hit a lot of really bad restaurants in this episode.
It seems to be a theme in recent episodes.
Of course. So what you're saying is we should perhaps hop onto the next topic.
No. I think
I'm saying that specifically.
I think I needed to answer.
Okay. Maybe a short and sweet answer.
Subway.
Yeah,
And-
you don't gotta pull these out of the air. We can.
No, I'm gonna do it. Give me a second.
You're going to put it out?
I'm going to pull it out of the air. Damn it.
First, Subway,
Okay.
and secondly,
No, you got time.
give me a second.
I'm giving you a second.
I'll edit it out.
Okay.
All I can think of is Subway, but it's delivered like on a Subway car. And I was like, that's not a restaurant.
That's not a restaurant, but still disgusting.
Because it's Subway.
Yeah, it's Subway delivered anyway would be disgusting.
Subway on its own would ruin any restaurant.
Yeah, so you've got like, to throw out some random ones.
You could throw out the best. You could throw out Chef Gordon Ramsay and put it with Subway, and it would still be disgusting.
Well, I mean, at that point, you've elevated it to like it's no longer Subway; it's just better, and that isn't like hard to do. I'm just saying that, like,
Yeah, just eat somewhere else.
yeah, Subway and any other restaurant, but you don't order their crossover special. You get what that other restaurant has.
It's amazing that Subway has stayed afloat for so long.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not, because have you seen the people that go to Subway?
No.
Then you would understand why
I don't go to Subway. Why would I torture myself that
Are
way?
you discriminating against Subwayans?
All I'm saying is that Subway, it's freaky fat. Wait, no, that's Jimmy
That's
John's.
Jimmy
They got the $5 foot
They've
long,
got
my guy.
Jimmy
Sandwich
John's has the
racist.
$5 foot long, and
Okay.
Well,
I think there's a good point in saying that their $5 foot long ad campaign is one of the only things keeping them afloat, because it's the only thing I remember having about Subway.
oh sure, yeah.
The only thing I remember
It's
about
not even a
Subway
foot.
existing.
It's not even a foot.
Isn't it like 9 inches?
It's like it's a considerable amount less than a foot. And I mean, it's not even like like 1 inch less than a foot. You could say like, okay, that's fine, right? But
Wow.
I don't know. Food gets me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan.
Clearly.
I'm a proprietor of food.
For the people at home, Adam is vibrating right now
I am
from anger at Subway.
contempt. How, but is that even legal? Isn't that like, or could they hypothetically say that, oh, this one particularly is a like, I don't know the legality of it, but maybe they could say like, oh, this one is like, oh, this one was not made to our standards.
It might have been the $5 foot long is no longer a thing, so whatever you can get for $5, that's what you get.
Right.
That's possible.
Okay.
So when you order the $5 foot long, they give you the $5 half long.
Our promotion is no longer available. So not only is your $5 not going to get you a foot long, you're also buying Subway. So
Lovely.
yes.
Subway and anywhere else.
Yeah.
I guess is my answer. Because
Just don't go
Subway
to Subway.
ruins anything it touches.
Just don't go to Subway.
Anything the Subway ruins is bad.
We've,
It's
you know,
corrupt.
if we keep going at this rate, we're gonna knock off all of our possible sponsors if we ever get big.
Oh yeah, because we want fast food on our talk show. Can you hear that, guys? Munch, munch. That's the sweet sound of Arby's lettuce.
Yeah, we're gonna not get any sponsors. Anyway, have you heard about our sponsor, Raid Shadow?
Raid Shadow Legends has so graciously come in. 278,000 legends.
It has a nearly 5-star rating on the Google Play Store.
Absolute shit game. for the listeners at home,
Absolutely.
You mean everybody who isn't in this conversation for the listeners? at
yeah,
home.
for the listeners at home who don't know what Raid Shadow Legends is,
Shit.
absolute garbage
Yeah.
on this planet Earth. Anyways,
I tried it. I'm not gonna lie. I tried it.
did you actually?
Yeah. Well, I'm like, listen, everyone's doing it. I'll give it a try. I haven't rated it, but listen. Well, I can't say that it's shit unless I play it, right? And I can firmly say 100% that game is garbage.
Garbage.
Garbage day. Anyway,
What?
That's another movie.
it's from a really bad Christmas horror movie
Isn't it for Jim Carrey?
No, it's not Jim Carrey. Anyway, but that's beside the point. So,
does anybody have any other topics?
Yeah, Josh, you had some, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So,
let's break the fourth wall some more.
I didn't mention it to you guys earlier, but I did steal this from a different podcast.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Reddit, go on to r/NoStupidQuestions,
Classic.
and sort by controversial.
So these are people who are, they're like too afraid to ask people that they know, so they're just like, let's ask the internet and see
and that'll go over well.
Yes.
Okay. Give us a fast
So
one.
here's a great start.
Okay. All right.
Why is strong religiousness not considered a mental illness?
Whoa.
Well, this is a next question.
We are sorting by controversial.
We are busting out of the gate.
I wish they would tell us what stance they were taking, because they weren't very clear about it.
Well,
we can
What
get
did they
really
think about-
topical.
Okay.
A lot of these are topical. I am not certain.
oh, he just keeps scrolling. Okay.
Uh-oh.
We'll get there eventually.
Maybe I should sort by all time instead of this month.
Yeah, that's a
Probably a good idea.
Or this year. I think it's great to just start at 2019.
What does this one say?
Imagine starting at 2019, knowing what we know now. I'd
move to Canada.
I would move to Canada.
Literally anywhere else.
We don't do anything about it or alert anyone. We just move to Canada. cut our cat.
Don't know why this is in the top controversial, but it says, "Why do my cat's breath smell like cat food?"
An enigma science may never be able to explain. Next question.
Well, gee whiz, I wonder why.
If Red Robin and islands have bottomless fries, why is there world hunger?
Well, first of all, I don't know how long you can sustain yourself on only starch.
I mean, if we look at that, can't we make the assumption that Olive Garden would also be able to end world hunger?
Again,
They've got endless breadsticks.
and I can't stress this enough. Are we talking about hunger in the bodily feeling of, man, I could eat something? Are we talking about hunger as in sustenance? Because breadsticks and fries, I don't think are going to solve
They make
many
up
problems.
one food group and it's starch.
To be fair,
and sadness.
To be fair, Matt Damon did live on the surface of Mars with only potatoes. Another sci-fi movie we haven't touched on yet. The Martian.
Wait, didn't only? I thought he had other veggies.
No, I'm pretty sure he
He
just had
He had
potatoes.
potatoes and ketchup, I think. And that was
The
it.
dude made. I could tell you what though, he could make a bomb fry restaurant when he came back down. The man knows his taters. Wait, they did save him, right? He didn't go.
Yeah,
The
I think
vacuum
so.
of space didn't turn him into a human marshmallow.
Spoilers for the book and movie, The Martian. Even though we already said it, yeah, it was a book.
Yeah, it was a book.
Uh-oh.
Speaking about other things, I wanted to talk about the Detective Pikachu movie
Okay.
because I just watched it recently and it came out last year, and I didn't have any interest in going and seeing it in theaters because I'm not a huge Pokemon guy.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are. Really.
I haven't even seen anything.
Yeah, neither of us. I've seen like the first 4 minutes or something.
I watched it at like midnight last night,
Okay.
going back to sleep schedules. But I actually kind of liked it.
Really?
Yeah, it the CGI of the Pokemon was incredible.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Like it looked like they were like physically there. And that, I imagine, for a Pokemon fan, that must be amazing.
Life.
The plot, on the other hand,
Riveting. Tell me about the plot, Lucas.
okay, I did guess the ending at the beginning. And so
Is it that Pikachu killed the dad?
no.
That's what I was guessing, and I was kind of disappointed to find out Ryan Reynolds isn't a killer in
every movie he's in.
I won't spoil Detective Pikachu, but slight spoilers ahead because there is one part I want to talk about.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with Ditto?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Pokemon that can like change itself to look like other Pokemon,
Sure.
right? And a major plot point in this movie is that Ditto can change itself to look like humans.
Okay.
So there's this huge reveal at the end of it's not a huge spoiler, but there's this reveal at the end of the movie that like one of the people that they thought was normal was actually Ditto the whole time. And he how you find this out is he takes off the sunglasses and he has the Ditto face. And it's just like it's like a smiley face on like a blank face.
So he had sunglasses on the entire movie?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you see like his mouth or his nose?
I mean, his mouth looked normal. It was just the eyes.
That is actually nightmarish.
It was really scary, actually.
So it's like an actual terrifying, like it's actual spooky imagery, you would say.
Like the perfect in between spooky and funny.
So it's kind of like, like blurred images.
Yeah.
Like blessed and between blessed and cursed. It's a blurred image.
It's a blurred image. Jesus.
It's a blurred word.
Just two marbles.
That is because
it's what it
Ditto's
was.
face is one of the most calming things on the purple goo, right?
Yeah.
Because he's just a nasty little a nasty pile of sludge, essentially.
With a smiley face
with
drawn on
a
it.
stupid smiley face drawn on it. And the only way that you can tell, like, between, him and other Pokemon he's imitating is that stupid smile, which is just frightening if it's sentient enough to, like, talk and I assume, like, be pretty sentient. Because I just assume
I don't think it spoke. I think it was, like
a side character of sorts?
Kind of. I don't want to spoil Detective Pikachu because there's people...
People are literally rioting right now because you almost told a Detective Pikachu spoiler.
Right.
People are at the door slamming on it coming in.
But Lucas reviews movies. I actually did enjoy it, even though I did guess some parts, but there was other parts that I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And that's good stuff you want from them.
Out of a 5, what would you say?
I'd give it a 4.
A 4, okay. So
maybe a 3.5.
Okay. So, closer to average, but definitely better than most movies.
Yeah,
it was an enjoyable experience.
I don't think I would have gone to see it in theaters.
Oh, okay.
But, like, if you've got free time and you know a little bit about Pokemon, then go for it.
That's fair.
I enjoyed it.
That's completely fair.
And that's an honest review for you.
We're not putting a tagline on it.
Are you sure?
Lucas Honest Movie Reviews.
I'll do that. I will do that.
Anytime we talk about
I would love that.
Which seems to be the majority of these.
Well, I think that's okay, right?
Says the film student. All right.
No, okay, listen. I haven't said that yet.
Spoilers. Adam spoilers ahead. He's gonna be a film student.
Yeah, and that's so cool. It's so cool, and it's gonna give me so many opportunities in life.
Your favorite movie is Pulp Fiction?
Nah. Yeah. There it is. So, okay. Are there any other movies that like Josh that you've seen that in theaters that you were like, I wish I did not see this in theaters?
Well, quite a while ago.
Okay.
I don't go to the theaters often.
Sure.
And when I do, it's usually for something that like I genuinely want to see, like a Marvel movie or something,
right?
Something big,
right?
I saw the Emoji Movie in theaters.
Oh well,
I remember that we went.
Okay,
that was for a birthday party, wasn't it?
It was. I want to say 3 years ago. We went and saw the Emoji Movie in theaters. That was one of the strangest experiences I think I've had, just as a movie.
Really?
So,
no.
The Emoji Movie's plotline is basically, there's this one guy who's unique, but no one likes him to be unique, so he has to try to fit in. But he eventually lets his true colors fly. Regular movie stuff.
Yeah.
Not an amazing plot.
Classic.
The amount of Shield product placements that are in that movie
I heard
are
about that.
astronomical.
I expected much more from the Emoji Movie.
To be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I on pure principle, I have never seen it, and I don't want to. There's nothing I'm missing.
Fair.
There are movies that are so bad they're good. People say the classics like The Room.
Sure.
But as a film student,
shut up.
Don't you think it would be a good idea to view it so you have the context? Adam's gonna watch the Emoji Movie.
I'm not gonna watch that Emoji Movie.
Will you do that for next week?
For the pot? Should I?
Yeah.
Okay. If people want me to, I'll go and I'll watch the Emoji Movie. I don't want to watch the Emoji Movie.
Adam's
Don't
email
know.
address is
No. So
you know how to contact Adam, berate him,
I don't
and
know
tell
if
him
I
to watch
should
the
watch
movie,
it. Maybe I'll like watch it with someone.
and we'll get an Adam honest review.
Okay, next week we'll have an Adam honest review for the Emoji Movie. I have like one of my favorite movies. I have a lot of favorite movies because, good lord, there are some. I think a lot of movies are hard to compare to another because each one tries to get a different type of, either piece of info across a different style that they want to show you. It's not always even about the plot. Sometimes it's about a something that the artist has in his mind, the director, that he just wants to put on a screen. And so because of that, I like a lot of different movies, and I don't really compare them a whole ton. I do a lot, which is hypocritical to say, but I have a lot of favorites, not because each one will collide with one another, but because each one is the best of its group that I've put it in, if that makes any sense at all.
No.
Okay. So the Raiders of the Lost. We're gonna gloss over that. The Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of them.
Okay.
And I love that movie, and I think it's an amazing piece of film. But I don't think it's a well-made movie. It's so cheesy, even for the time. It's big. It's overblown. It's around the same time that like James Bond was getting big too, and for that, you've got. I think there are 3 different ways to judge a not so good movie. It's either bad, which is it's made poorly and it has no soul or no vision in it, like say the Emoji Movie, or the most recent Kung Fu Panda.
Don't hate on my boy Poe.
Listen, I'm gonna say it. The first one is underrated. Kung Fu Panda, up there with Shrek.
Cinematic
masterpieces.
The film student says.
Jesus, leave it alone. So I'm gonna be a business student just to spite you.
Well, don't do that.
So
I'm gonna give up on my dreams
so I can say
Spite.
You know what? That doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. I mean, business takes you a long way. Anyway, but Indiana Jones. So then you've got a So Bad It's Good, where it has heart in it, but it's just not a well-made movie. And then you've got something like, I think, Indiana Jones, which has heart, which has it's a super well-written movie. It's interesting, but it's you can see the flaw in them, if that makes any sense. I think that you can put a number of different categories like that, and then you have what I think are they have the heart, they have the everything is well done, and you notice no flaws. And I think those movies are some like Princess Bride, where that is an old movie made around kind of the same time, and that I find trouble finding a problem with that, whether that's with acting, whether that's with anything else. And
what would you say as a film student? No, I'm kidding. But actually, like, there was conversation going around a while ago. Some big director said the Avengers and Marvel, the stuff isn't cinema. I don't. Do you remember that?
I think I remember hearing about that, but I don't remember who it was. I would disagree with that. I think art is art, and it's depending on the person that views it, what kind of art it is, and how good it is. Because you can't objectively say everyone will hate this, because that's not true. I mean, people liked the last Kung Fu Panda, and so
what you're saying is the Emoji Movie is art
to someone. I would say, undoubtedly, that someone out there, the Emoji Movie is unironically their favorite movie. And even if it is ironic, then you can view that however you want to. It's still, to them, art. So, yes, I would say yes.
So it doesn't really matter what the content is, as long as you see it through a lens of enjoyment and something you genuinely
As long as you gain value out of it, I think that many things that a lot of people put to the roadside have value.
That's what I felt about the Sonic movie. I'm not kidding. I actually kind of like the Sonic movie.
The Sonic movie isn't bad.
It had heart.
Yeah.
It had a lot of heart. I will give it that.
It wasn't good.
No.
But I really enjoyed it. Jim Carrey did fantastic.
Well, Jim Carrey...
Well, that's just Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's just Jim Carrey. I mean, I didn't really like the voice actor who played Sonic, and I don't really like the actor who played the main character. And so the two main people that you are the human main character,
Sure.
but I don't really see, those are the two main characters that you see on screen all the time.
Mhm.
Don't really like the two of them, and yet I still managed to enjoy the movie.
Mhm.
CGI had faults.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna
again,
say that.
so that's one of those movies that you could say it's got a lot of heart into it. Maybe not so well made, but
Right.
that's you put into one of those three categories. So I think that's pretty good. That's I mean, why not, right?
Lovely.
If you guys were to see, because video game movies have just gotten shat on
That's true.
for so long, which movie do you think could be made legitimately well and legitimately just believable, I guess, and made into a good movie? And I'd say try to stay away from action things, because you can make anything an action movie, as the Super Mario movie showed.
Well,
Mm.
as a game design student.
Oh.
Um,
Okay.
Part of the reason a lot of video game films don't succeed is because there's a level of when you play video games, it's
Yeah.
it adds an extra layer to the entertainment, in the sense that movies are a passive form of
Right.
entertainment. You sit down, you watch, and it's the same thing every time. But on the contrary, video games is an active form of entertainment. You physically do things
Mhm.
that changes the outcome of your entertainment.
Right.
And it's really difficult to go from an active form
Sure.
of entertainment to a passive form of entertainment, because that's like taking away that person's ability.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of places where people fall off
Mhm.
for video game movies is they're like, oh, that video game did popular.
So let's shove it into a basic movie genre.
Right, just make the campaign into a movie.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily work, because one,
Mhm.
the players have experienced it as someone other than the actors.
Right.
So they're always going to go with whatever they got first. And secondly, it doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
And if they do add anything, people get mad because they added things.
There's no winning, is what you're saying.
One
Yes.
movie that I really enjoed. It's not quite a video game movie,
Okay.
but it's
Pixels.
No.
Man, Paul Blart Mall Cop was so good in Pixels, dude. I loved him.
But a movie, well, it's gone over the radar because of what's happening right now, but Onward is a fantastic movie.
Sure.
And it incorporates more tabletop game elements to
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's the main character is kind of this just kind of I want to fit in kind of small
movie archetype number
Yeah.
one. Yes.
But his brother is this big tabletop game fan. He loves role playing and doing fantasy stuff.
Oh, sure.
And
Which is normal stuff for them since they live in a fantasy world, or is it even more fantastical?
it's
What if they did role play, but it was like us? They roll to see if they get to their IRS check.
Humans in houses.
Yeah.
Humans in houses. Adam rolls to defeat depression. We got a critical fail, boys. Uh-oh. That's another 5 months.
It does a really good job of incorporating tabletop game elements.
Yeah, sure.
Without it being overbearing or being we are shoving video games, we are shoving tabletop games.
Yeah.
It still remains that kind of fantastical kind of story element without it being overbearing to the plot. And I think that's something that more video game movies should do.
So are you saying is it more upfront with its tabletop roots, or are you saying that as you notice tabletop elements as someone who has played tabletop and enjoys it?
I think more the latter. Someone who enjoys tabletop, I noticed elements and I really enjoyed it.
So it's more of I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's more of just a fantasy movie then.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay.
Or possibly it's you're enjoying the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then you, as like corny as it may be, it's like you're enjoying the game and then you get thrown into the game. Whoa. Transported to another world.
Sure. I love those. First of all, I love those types of movies. I think it would be amazing if we got, even for things like Critical Role or the Adventure Zone, right? I would love to see those in a movie, whether that be animated, just voice acted. Give people props. Make a movie about it. I would absolutely love to see that because I love that whole. And maybe every once in a while, as a levity point, the film could zoom out of the tabletop. It has like all the props showing what they were doing, and there's the guy's like, "Well, I've got to go take a piss." And so there's an element of reality into it. He comes back a few seconds later and then zooms back into like an epic fight that they were just having. I think that could be
that would be incredible.
A fantastical way to do a movie. And I love that kind of idea, but with you can also do it with a lot less levity and a little bit more seriousness. Have you guys ever seen Tron, the original one?
I have not.
Yes. Okay, so that is all about they create, in order to make almost the perfect system, they essentially make it a god, and this god creates its own realm inside of itself, which it uses to run programs, do other stuff like that. And it's a city where everything is, it's connected to an actual computer program. This god literally made a world just to have power over, because it can't really do a whole ton except make the stock markets crash in the real world. So it just kind of entertains itself by running its own reality that it created. And some people find themselves essentially you can upload yourself, which is the more fantastical element, into there. But I love that. That's such a cool idea. And sadly, Tron Legacy just kicked that series in the nuts. And
those CGI faces.
Oh my god, the CGI faces was like looking at claymation. I love that movie, and I love that franchise a lot more than I like a lot of other franchises. So when I first saw Tron Legacy, I'm like, man, that's cool. That's got a lot. So
the only thing I never watched Tron Legacy.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure the only thing I know from that movie is the dumb looking CGI face.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got to say, they've got such interesting ideas where, actually I can't explain it because I'm not 100% certain about computer terms. But in short, they use disks that travel back to you to fight. And maybe I'm maybe I'm a sucker for really, really well choreographed action sequences, but gosh darn, it's cool to watch. I love the aesthetic of a futuristic vaporwave, because that's what the entire movie is. And the entire setup is perfect for me, where nothing they do inside matters. They can die and no one will know that they just got uploaded to this computer, and so they've got to get out. And the only real way to get out is, by destroying all these paths. Anyway, classic movie tropes, so and so. But I just wish they would do a lot more with that. And
well, then this is cliche, but you're the film student. Go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it, big guy.
If I could, I would, but I don't think anybody cares about Tron anymore. So not only if I do it, no one will care except for my dad, which honestly would be fine. As long as someone enjoys it, it's worth making.
Sure.
Maybe not millions of dollars, which is what you need to make a good Tron movie, because everything needs to be really good CGI. But
they didn't have a bunch of CGI back then.
Back then is 2007, 2008.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And speaking of computers, to slowly wrap up this this recording session here, I have a hypothetical for you guys.
Amazing.
So if the world's slowly ending in 2 years,
yeah.
So Bill Gates is buff ass Bill Gates with all of his money,
right,
decides to build a supercomputer that can fix one of everything is going wrong at the same time, and the supercomputer can only figure out one thing to fix. That'll hopefully have such a change that it'll throw everything back into more of a a regrowth cycle, so that we can survive as a race. So what do you guys think that would be? It's a little deep. I'm sorry to throw this out here.
Absolutely. My immediate thought would be being a student. Period.
Less school time. School's for dorks.
No, and in fact, the opposite. I think. I think there's a huge level of difference between education that people receive based on where they live and their economic position.
Sure.
This has been said before, but how many Albert Einsteins have we lost because that person never got the proper education? You know, they had the willpower and the drive, and they had the the genetics that would make up an Albert Einstein.
We're not falling into eugenics, are we, Lucas?
I'm just saying that I think if
I think that if in fact that if we could change the genes of people to be smarter, I mean, all right, Lucas, okay.
If we were to provide education for an equal top tier education for everyone, then more problems would be solved because more people would be educated.
I 100% agree. In fact, I was actually going to do the same exact route, but focus more and not on mass education, but in fact education that is specific to the learner. Mm-hmm. So instead of having a generalized class, which is only really supposed to, up until college, get you ready for college and socialize you to norms and other such stuff, that each class is specified to a certain person's learning ability, whether they're a visual or a physical learner, and to what cognitive paths can be built, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. My first thought to that question was instead of more on the education side, more on the government side. If we could build an algorithm for the perfect democratic setup or something like that, what would be the most incorruptible system for a government to have? But that stuff sometimes can't be quantified.
Right.
There's obviously a trade-off between certain things, such as trying to prevent the most inflation, or trying to prevent the most whatever the problem might be, whether social or economic.
Sure.
What if we had the supercomputer run the world?
That sounds like the plot of a lot of sci-fi apocalypse.
Yeah. Man, we should call it something. God, we made it with blue steel, so it kind of looks like the sky, and it connects to the internet. Skynet or something.
I like the name Hal.
I like the name Hal. Hal is a great name. Hal, and you know what? He's one of 2,000 models we made. Well, let's call him Hal 2000.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
But he's your friend.
He's your friend, and he just wants to know what you're talking about inside the space shuttle. So open the door. Anyway,
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
As a super last thing here, something a little bit more off the rails, a little more kooky to end our podcast on a great note. If one of you guys had to choose one food on one island for the rest of your life.
This is our second hypothetical.
Not only is it my second hypothetical, it is my last hypothetical. So,
one food
to have for the rest of your life. You have to sustain yourself off of this food.
Are we going to
Are we talking through nutritional value as well?
Yeah, anything.
I see,
what is the most nutritional food? I want to know.
I can see exactly where this conversation is going to go, because we're the type of people to be like, we can't have any fun with this question because we're going to be like,
okay,
I got to pick potatoes because they have the most options and they're the most high level in starch, and we can't just be like, I want pizza because I like pizza
because pizza is good. Wait, why would you say that? I hate pizza.
I do.
So hot take.
That is an actual hot take. I'm not a fan of pizza. Everyone out there who doesn't know, everyone clicks off.
1 hour and 1 minute into the podcast or whatever it is.
So it survived everything else.
And all of the garbage that we've thrown at them until now.
Pizza?
Lucas doesn't like pizza?
I can't. We talked about eugenics, feet, and Star Wars again. But pizza's the one thing that they couldn't handle.
That's where they draw the line.
So, one thing, if you were to get rid of one food, in the world. No other places sell it. It's erased from existence. You never have to see it or taste it again. I know it's going to be pizza.
No, and
really?
yeah, because I know other people like it. And
It
I'm like,
is absolutely celery.
For you? Celery?
It has zero. Okay, let me list off the reasons. Zero nutritional value.
Okay.
Literally just some sort of root thing.
What?
It's a vegetable.
Some
We have
sort
plenty
of root thing.
The only thing you see people put it on is peanut butter. The thing that's like the most versatile. You could put peanut butter on anything else and it would
That's
taste
actually
good.
kind of fair.
Wait,
Because
like
I
put the
could
celery on the peanut butter, or the peanut butter on the celery?
Like you have celery and you put peanut butter on
Okay,
it, and then you eat it.
because I thought you said
You definitely said putting celery on the peanut butter, and I don't know what kind of psychopath we invited on our podcast, but I will not stand for that.
No, I'm
Which is
not
a
a
good reason I'm
psychopath.
saying.
Oh, imagine like you have celery and it's like curved right, but you put the peanut butter on the outside instead of the inside.
Stop!
That's the worst.
God, I hate that. No, stop. So,
Now
you're
everyone's
Celery,
gone.
Yeah.
celery sucks.
Celery, okay. Hot take. Give us another hot take, Lucas.
You guys might think it'd be pizza,
Mm-hmm.
but for me it would be pizza. But no, it'd be calzones.
What do you mean?
Because-
Calzones will never be non-existent. Once they're gone, some Italians like folding over pizzas like, hey, look at that. And then that'll be the rest of...
It just like disappears as soon as you fold it.
No, pizzas are no longer foldable.
What? What do you mean? How do you make a pizza unfoldable? Is it a pizza sphere now? Because that's a calzone.
No, it's not. Either way,
Depending on what side of the pizza the toppings are on, I believe that would be.
You can
Either way.
only fold it the other way.
Yeah.
either way, I don't like. Yeah, if you fold it,
If you fold it so the toppings are, you're holding it toppings. Your
just
your
have your
fingers are
fingers
just
covered
knuckle
in
deep in the
sauce.
cheese as you're taking a gnarly little bite out of this.
yeah, because calzones are just stupid pizza. You know, it's just folded pizza.
So it's what I hate, but worse.
Right, exactly.
Calzones
So-
are stupid pizza.
I think I would have a riot on my hand if I killed pizza off. But if I killed off calzones, I'd be hitting a more niche group,
Okay.
like Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Specifically Adam Scott, the actor. So, come at me, Adam Scott.
This is a formal duel. If I was to choose anything in the world, first of all, I don't mind people who, eat crickets and that kind of other stuff. If it's one of the only nutrition sources of the sources of protein they can get in that area, I don't have a problem with but I mean, I don't have to eat them. I don't even have to see them.
Sure.
I don't have a problem. Like other people really hate, people enjoy onions and all that other stuff. I like onions too, but like peppers and other stuff, whatever. But one thing I cannot abide by, one thing that I believe is just should not have been created in the first place, is there is a type of Jell-O called brain Jell-O, where it is not in fact a Jell-O mix like
As you would expect.
sweet apple or green apple or whatever Jell-O has that you pour it in and then
Sure.
plop a brain in. It's salty Jell-O
Oh.
with brain, carrots, cabbage, different sorts of roots like beet, anything else that is boiled first, chopped up, thrown into the salty bladder. With I'm not sure if they have eyes in there either, but the brain is just in there, and you take a slice of the brain, and you pull it back out. I've been within 3 to 4 feet of this thing, and I knew at that point that I was not a religious man.
God would not allow this on his earth.
Were you at a cult meeting?
I was with my extended family in Poland, in
Oh.
fact, and not only was this a normal thing, I think it was an every week thing.
Oh,
So,
boy.
so not only have I not spoken to them since I've been back, I no longer wish to convene with Poland in general.
Well, we know if the zombie apocalypse breaks out, who's turning first.
Yeah, and it's definitely the Poles. All right, guys.
All right, that's our show.
Yeah, I'm Adam.
And I'm Lucas.
I'm Joshua.
And thank you for joining us